Welcome back to Pagitt Radio, 121, in a conversation with Craig Goodwin from Spokane, Washington. Getting a shout out here. Craig is the author of a book called Year of Plenty, One Suburban Family, 4 Rules, and 365 Days of Homegrown Adventure in Pursuit of Christian Living. The second longest subtitle to a book I've ever seen, mine being the first. I have a book that has a longer subtitle that I truly can't remember how it all goes. But it was a great idea at the time. But I really like that. One Suburban Family, 4 Rules, and 365 Days of Homegrown Adventure in Pursuit of Christian Living. Part of what I find interesting about the book is that you frame it in the context of this for you was a call of faith. This wasn't just a call to be sort of the people who, in the mid to late part of the first decade of the third millennium decided, we should, do the green thing because that's sort of what people do. Right. This came out of an impulse for you to say you want to live right in the world because of your own Christian commitment. And you're a pastor, like you said, you and your wife are pastors of a Presbyterian church, where you're taking leave from the conversation and church service there right now to talk with us on the radio, aren't you?
I am, I'm skipping church right now.
Yeah, are you in the church lobby? Are you in the church office?
I'm in my church office.
Oh, great.
So I'll go listen to the sermon right after this.
Well, I know you're surrounded by books there, and I'm sure one of them is this book that you've written, Year of Plenty, and I like the cover of it a lot. There's a picture of a chicken, which...
that's my chicken.
I was going to ask you, is that actually your chicken?
That's my chicken and my daughter, and that's our labyrinth garden that's our lawn that became a garden there in the top right corner.
It is inspiring.
What's the chicken's name?
Cheesy.
Okay.
Cheesy.
That's my... and we had a tragedy. Cheesy died here recently.
Oh, Craig, you're bringing me down.
Craig, I got a smirk on my face.
On the book. One of our conflicts was our daughter Noelle is on the book, and we thought, oh no, what about Lily, who's our other daughter? But that's Lily's chicken, and so that saved us. So that's Lily's chicken on the cover of the book.
What ended up happening to Cheesy?
Chickens lead sometimes tragic lives, and Cheesy she died one day, which happens with chickens sometimes, and so...
Oh, I think what the sidekick is getting at, then what became of Cheesy?
What became...
I'm sure you had another...
If you're wondering, we did not eat...
Did you eat locally?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
Did you have another awkward conversation with your other daughter?
No.
Okay, so tell us about this book with the deceased chicken on the cover.
Yeah.
It's a guide. It's more than just your story. You've written it so that people can be inspired and find some inspiration and some practicality for how they could do something.
Yeah, it's kind of a combination. It's a personal story, but it also does, there's a whole appendix about how to turn your lawn into a vegetable garden, how to get started raising chickens, which I think your wife needs to read, Doug, how to, as part of the year, I took a master food preserver course, and so there's some...
I'm sorry?
I am a master food preserver. Along with having a Master of Divinity degree, I am a master food preserver.
Like you're the guy that can figure out exactly the right container to put the leftovers in?
If you need any advice, I would be glad to give you.
Which skill have you found more helpful?
We make salsa, and we take all of our local food and preserve it for the winter.
Oh, so it's like canning and jarring and
that's
that kind of thing.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, but that in my mind that tends to sort of feel like the thing that maybe older women in the 30s would do. So a master food preserver is a much more...
It's very cool now. It's very hip and cool to be into food preservation. So
yes. Do you have a title that goes with that? When
No, I am a master food preserver. That's the title.
Master food preserver. An MFP.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And so the book is full of those kinds of clues and tips and helps for people.
Yeah. So it's a guide, and there have been a lot of books that have come out. No Impact Man, Omnivore's Dilemma by Michael Pollan, Barbara Kingsolver's book Animal Vegetable Miracle. A lot of those books are engaging this whole local food movement and green consumption, and reflecting on that. And and my book, it reflects some of those same themes, but I've tried to enter in with a distinctly Christian voice as a pastor, as a follower of Jesus. One of the questions that I start the book with, well, what does a Christian voice look like in the midst of these conversations? And I wrote the book because I think there is a need for the church to enter into more, and for there to be some more conversation among people of faith about local food, about green, going green, environment, all those sorts of things. So,
Any
that's part of
pushback
it.
from people in your congregation when you guys endeavored in on this? Did they?
We didn't really make it a big public thing. We didn't really know if we could do it, so we didn't
Like,
want to
didn't
announce
people
it
wonder
on-
when you were ripping up your garden? Were they like,
Yeah, the neighbors were like, "What
it's
the
having
heck
a
is
Noah
going
moment?
on?"
Yeah.
Yeah, we had plenty of people wondering about what was going on at the Goodwin house.
And when people kept getting used birthday gifts from you, did the rumor not
Yeah,
spread
that was
around
actually
the...
the birthday parties were a huge dilemma. We bought
There's winter squash. We got a barn full of it.
Yeah. So it was. But there were, so we didn't make a huge deal out of it intentionally. We focused on. We said we're not out to save the world. We're out to really save our family and to discover new beautiful rhythms for our life together. And out of that, we started the blog and we found that people were interested and wanted to know more. And so we've tried to share what we've learned. But it is, we don't presume that anyone else should seek to live according to these 4 rules. We don't even live technically by these 4 rules right now. But we did this year, we sort of confined ourselves in these rules, and in the midst of that, we discovered some holy rhythms in the midst of that, things that really tapped into deep places in our faith and in our journey of seeking to love our neighbor as ourselves, seeking to seek after the Jesus who is redeeming all things. And so part of the book, we're trying to share our story, and in sharing our story, invite other people to do their own experiments.
And now people can pick up the book, and it just went on sale in the last couple of weeks. Are you
that's
hearing
correct.
from people yet? Are you hearing from people who are saying this is catching on, or I like it, or this idea is the spreading now of the idea? A year and a half or 2 years later, is it starting to catch people's imaginations?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the blog has had a pretty good readership and a pretty good community that's grown up around it, and so the book, in some ways, is an extension of that, and certainly in our local community in Spokane, like I was just signing books yesterday and talking to people who say, I've been reading your blog for the last year and a half, and I was telling people about how to start raising chickens, Doug, and again, I want to remind you that I'm willing to be a consultant for you on that. But and the hope.
I'm being conspired against by the entire chicken universe on this thing. It's coming from every angle.
That's right. I think the story has caught hold in some ways here, especially locally, and I'm hoping to share that more broadly and enter into those conversations in other communities and become a part of it. And like I said, we're not out to make anyone feel guilty or browbeat anyone about being good consumers. We're out to share our story and hopefully allow that to start new conversations and get people thinking.
Well, Craig, thanks a lot for your book. It's terrific, folks. You can pick it up. Year of Plenty is what it is called, and you can find it at all of your book retailers. And Craig, thanks for the book, and thanks for the good work that you're doing and for being on Doug Pagitt Radio. We'll let you get back to regular church.
Okay, thanks so much,
Yeah,
Doug.
yeah, thanks, buddy. Hey, and the rest of you, if you want to keep up on that conversation, you can spread the word. You'll find it over at facebook.com/Doug Pagitt Radio. And the podcast, you can find all of it there if you want to share the story of that. We're going to be back, and we're going to have a conversation about heaven and hell. It might not sound all that thrilling to people, but I'm going to try to make heaven and hell interesting.
Oh, okay.
After this, on Doug Pagitt Radio, after the break. So sorry you have to hold on for that. Sometimes the waiting is the hardest part. But stick with us here on Doug Pagitt Radio, AM 950 and DougPagittRadio.com.